So we've all had a very strange year, and for most of us who've been stuck at home, we've had the internet and not much else. And the internet, for all it's good, brings a lot of issues with it. And the problem of pornography is one of those I really believe is the silent killer of our generation, a thing that is so prevalent and hardly anyone is talking about. I really want to say that if you are stuck in this habitual sin, have hope that our God is a God of love. He sees you, He knows you, He sees the desires you have, which are good. And all of us have been twisted. All of us from an early age in this pornographic culture have, in some way, shape, or form, experienced this, are the walking wounded. The average age of online internet exposure now is between 9 and 11 years old. That's a person seeking it out, a person having a search gone wrong, someone having it just shoved in their face. Mercy, mercy on yourselves, mercy on all of us who are dealing with this issue. I see non-religious people trying to regain self-control, trying to understand the neurology of what porn has done to us and want it out of their lives. The central problem with pornography from a human spiritual standpoint is that it stops us from being generous. Porn by its nature is a turn inward, is a pushing others out, is a turn towards the self, to be about me and my pleasure, this coping mechanism. And that can train us over time to have a warped view of love, to have a warped view of why I exist on earth, and it handicaps our ability to go out and serve others. I read an account on Mother Teresa recently and her story and the work she did with her sisters, and they take the vows of chastity, obedience, poverty, and was just noting how that is serious, and they're never going to get to the point of serving the poorest of the poor in Calcutta if they don't have self-control, if they don't have enough self-mastery to put themselves aside, to recognize their lives are not all about them. It's not all about me and my pleasure. That if we're made in the image of likeness of God, then that God is generous, that God is self-gift by His nature, and that is the only way we find satisfaction in our hearts, when we imitate that image of being generous, of going out, of laying down our lives for others. And porn it just cuts that off. And so we're never going to get out of ourselves, we're never going to serve those around us in our neighborhood, in the poor, those we can coach or mentor, if we're stuck in this habitual sin. In Dante's Divine Comedy, as he's writing about the main character's descent into hell before he goes through purgatory, arrives at heaven, you would think that lust, for all of its shame and for all of it makes us into less than human. You think it would be at the bottom of hell, but he actually puts lust fairly near the top. And at the bottom of hell is the sins of pride, is the sins of treachery, of deceiving a friend or a brother. Dante considers those sins to be much more horrible and soul stifling than lust. Why? Lust is again a twisting of love that goes inward, just about me and my pleasure. Our desires are good, though. Our desires are God-given, to go out and to seek love, to seek the beautiful. Porn naturally, by its nature, it takes those things and twists them back inward. So that's all about me. The nature of the Christian way is untwisting that and to see it's not a radical no to sex. It's a radical yes to what sex is and what it ought to be. This life-giving bond between a man and a woman, that it actually, again, pours out new life by its very action. It affirms, it again, shares in the beautiful. Why, again, would a good God allow me to fall to this again and again? If this is like one of your thorns in the flesh, if this is something you're like, God, I have prayed this for so long, I have tried to get this out of my life. Maybe you got it out of your life for a good period of time and you find yourself falling to it again. Again, we've had a crazy year. It's been stressful. It's been lots of anxiety. It's been a whole lot of time on the internet, and maybe that has not been good for you. Why do I keep falling to this? St. Thomas Aquinas said that God will permit us to fall to some of these sins of the flesh so that we don't fall into or form these sins of pride, these sins of self-sufficiency, of that heart that is calcified and just thinking, I got it, God. I don't need you anymore. That's harder to break through than we who are trying to walk the way of the Lord, but keep falling to sin, keep falling to these temptations. Because then we know, like, God, I can't do this on my own. I need you, God. I need you, Lord. Like, there's the grace of God saying, I'm going to let you fall. Like, you think you got it, I'm going to let you fall. And so that way you know that humility, you know that dependency. The sin of pride is more dangerous than the sin of lust. Have hope. Where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. I've been blessed to walk with so many young people, men and women, who from an early age, 8, 9, 10, had porn shoved in their face, started finding it on the internet. And it's been for them this long struggle of trying to get over it. And they know they can't do it on their own. So again, I've seen 16, 17, 18-year-olds who say, I'm done. I want this out of my life. I don't want to bring this into my marriage. I don't want to bring this into college. I don't want to keep dealing with this. Because again, it sucks away the energy I have to get out of myself, to be generous to the world. I will never contribute if I'm just stuck staring in a dark room at my device. And again, there's so much more to say on this thing, especially how it hijacks, again, the good dopamine receptors we have to bond ourselves to another human person. We bond ourselves to a screen. The Neurology is showing this. There's secular organizations like Fight the New Drug that detail what this does to the brain, how it can become a true addiction. I think for a lot of people, it becomes a habit. It's a tough habit to break, but it's a habit. It can lend way to an addiction. And again, we're all walking wounded. We're all coming out at this of a place of not having done it perfectly, but saying that God wants better for us. He wants to have us to have life and life in abundance. There's more to say too on the porn industry itself, which is a dark place, a place of heavy drug use, of high suicide rates, of objectification of men and women. That takes a toll. The whole, oh, this isn't hurting anybody. There's real men and women involved in this. And you may think for yourself, there's no consequences. You're cheating on yourself. You're cheating on who it is God wants you to be. Again, not in a place of judgment. Like, I've been there, and God has had mercy and mercy and mercy on me that I didn't deserve. Just to say that we're made for something better. We're made for so much better. We're made for real love. We're not made for a fake counterfeit. We're not made for a twisted thing that is just, again, it points me back to myself and doesn't encourage me to get out of my own ego, to get out of my own bubble of a world, to be generous as God has called me to be. Again, guys, there's so much more to say, and I want to say that I'm praying for you. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video or any of the other videos out there with Ascension or other ministers who are calling attention to this for yourself or a friend or a loved one who is stuck, who needs some encouragement, who needs to know they're not alone in this. Through the help of God, we can be made whole. We can be healed. We can have healing of memories. We can heal the brain, and we can live a life fully alive that God is calling us to live. From all of us at Ascension Presents, God bless.